In this video we're going to break down Homeward Bound by Simon and Garfunkel. I'm going to show you the intro lick, the parts for the verse, pre-chorus and chorus, including the chords you'll need and the finger picking patterns that we can play. There's lots of videos on YouTube of Paul Simon playing this live, and he always has a slight couple of variations he implements with the finger picking patterns. I'm going to show you the way I interpret it. He uses a thumb pick on the side of his picking hand thumb so he can alternate between bass notes. I'm not going to do that in this video, but if you have a thumb pick you might like to try and get that involved and use the thumb in the same way as I show you in this video. Chord diagrams, tabs and the chart are over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/SoundHubMusic. Let's jump in. Okay, we're going to break down this intro, really tasty lick. We start off by playing the open G and the open B. And then we play that again. And the second time we play it, we hammer on to fret 1 on the B string and fret 2 on the G string simultaneously, so that we pluck the B and G together and we hammer onto them both at the same time using the first and second fingers. We'd not finish there because we're going to pull off as well. So for one kind of trigger of the string, we get 3 different things. So from the start. Now those hammer-ons need to be nice and even, so the second note is as loud as the open zeros, and so do the pull-off. So we're aiming for all 3 kind of events to be even in volume. That's what we're going for. You might want to sit and practice getting clean hammer-ons and pull-offs. After that little figure, we play 3 on the D string and 2 on the G. Now I'm talking about the fret in relation to the capo. So remember, the capos become 0. This is fret 1, fret 2, fret 3. Now my third finger goes on the 3rd fret of the D, and my second on the 2nd fret of the G. And I'm going to pinch the thumb on the D string, first finger on the G. Then I'm going to put my second finger on the 2nd fret of the D, have an open G. Now I'm going to put my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A with an open G. So that little move is gone. So it's 3 on the D and 2 on the G, 2 on the D and 0 on the G, 3 on the A and a 0 on the G. That's everything so far. So we've gone, and then we finish off on the middle 2 strings now, so D and G, and we're going to do a 0 on both of them, hammer onto the 2 on the D string, and that is a grace note on the 0 on the D, so that means we play it really quickly and hammer straight to 2, and then we finish off with an open D and G, and that's within a G major chord, isn't it? If you strum a G major, however you play it, a few different ways there, we always have an open D and G. Okay, let me play everything together. And then we're into the verse. That little figure. Couple more times on that intro riff. Now I'm always adding in that 3rd fret of the low E because you don't want to see that intro as some distinct lick where you can't get to the verse. And again, a little bit slower. If you want to elevate things, there are a couple of things we can add. The first time we play open G and B, the very first part, we could play the 3rd fret of the low E, just to add a bass note in there, and then when we play the 0-2 hammer on to zeros at the end, we could play the thumb getting that G note again in the bass. Last time! Okay, we're into the verse now. Now the verse is always the same chord progression, and the first time through he plays a simpler picking pattern with his right hand. I've watched lots and lots of versions of Paul Simon play this, and there's always some subtle variations. He's so at home with this fingerpicking style that he can kind of vary things up and still get the same kind of perfect result. He uses a thumb pick, so he's got a kind of pick coming out the side of his thumb on his picking hand, and that kind of comes out at a right angle, and he's always getting the bass notes with that thumb pick. We can do it without that, but I'm going to show you the start of the verse, where we get chords G, G with an F sharp, G with an F, and E minor. After that we change to A minor with a G in the bass and F. But we're just going to take the bit for G, G with an F sharp, G with an F, and E minor. And the first time through the verse he plays this with a simplified pattern, and that's this. He's into A minor. He's only playing the root note on the low E string and alternating with an open D, and he gets both notes with his thumb. So on the first chord, the G, he goes 3 on the E, D, 3 on the E, D, and he alternates between them 4 times. E string, D string, E string, D string, E string, D string, E string, D string. They're all quavers, or 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then he drops down. You can use your second finger to fret it or your first finger to the second fret of the E string. That's an F sharp. Same pattern, E, D, E, D, E, D, E, D. Now you might want to get in the habit of putting the other fingers where they might be for that chord, because later on in verse 2 we are going to put the full chord in there for the finger picking pattern. We'll break that down later. So far in verse 1 we've gone 3rd fret, an open D, 2nd fret, an open D. Then we go 1st fret, an open D. So the bass goes 3, 2, 1, or effectively G, F sharp, F. After the F we go to an open E string and the 2nd fret of the D, as if we were playing an E minor in the harmony. So it's E string, 2nd fret D. So all together slowly. Then we're into A minor, where we play the thumb getting the A string. And a different pattern. Let's just take the first 4 chords, G, G with F sharp, G with F, E minor, and put that in after the intro. This is where I'd kind of be wanting to get after a couple of practice sessions if I was new to this style. Into A minor, and we'll add that in now. I'm going to show you a more varied pattern than just using the thumb that Paul Simon generally introduces for the 2nd verse, but on some versions he plays from verse 1. We're going to use the thumb, 1st finger and 2nd finger, and we're still going to alternate the thumb between E, D, E, D, but we're going to add in a couple of notes on the B and the G string. I'll show you the pattern first. So we go thumb E, thumb D, thumb E, and then 2 on the B, thumb on the D, 1st finger on the G. So we get I played the pattern twice then because each chord gets it twice. So it's thumb on E, thumb on D, thumb on E, 2 on the B, thumb on D, 1 on G. So the second half after thumb E, thumb D, thumb E is 2 on the B, thumb on the D, 1 on the G. That was it for G, because you do the pattern twice and then you drop to G with an F sharp. Then you drop to the F at the 1st frets. So for G, G/F sharp and G with an F in the bass, we get... First time on E minor we do the same, so thumb on the open E, thumb on the 2 on the D, thumb on the open E, 2 on the B, thumb on the D, first finger on the G. Then we switch patterns to 8 notes in each bar for the second bar of E minor. This pattern's easier, it's thumb on the E, second fret on the B, second finger on the B, so thumb on the E, second finger on the B, thumb on the D, first finger on the G. And we've gone to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so quavers now. So thumb on E, second on B, thumb on D, first on G. That's a 1 bar long pattern. Then we change to A minor. It's the same pattern, but the thumb now plays the A string. So thumb on A, 2 on B, thumb on D, first finger on G. And then again, thumb on A, 2 on B, thumb on D, first on G. Now at the end of the A minor, so the end of the second bar, we've got to use our pinky to get an A minor with a G. It's A minor, and then A minor with a G in the bass, so. Then we're into F, and we continue the pattern. So A minor gets... And then F, use the bar chord, let's say I commit to that, so first finger across all 6 strings, just 1 fret above the capo, second finger on the 2nd fret above the capo on the G, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A, pinky on the 4th fret of the D. And now on the F we go thumb on E, second on B, thumb on D, first on G. 2 bars of that. And then we're into G. Now G again is just, we just need to take care of the 3rd fret of the low E, thumb on E, second on B, thumb on D, first on G. And we do that twice. For bar 1 of G, we get G again, same again. So it's essentially a 4-note pattern happening twice per bar. I'm going to play everything up until the end of G. So the progression is G, G with F sharp, G with F, E minor, A minor, briefly A minor with G in the bass, F, and then G. We just got one more chord to add in the moment, but let's take that so far. So we start with the G. We switch on the E minor 2nd bar and A minor, G gets the same. Now we get this beautiful chord. I call it D sus4 with an A in the bass. It's the 5th fret above the capo on the low E string, the 4th string above the capo on the D string, and the 3rd fret above the capo on the B string. It's got a lovely suspense to it. Now it's the same pattern, so thumb on the E, 2nd finger on the B, thumb on the D, 1st finger on the G. So from the G, at the end of the verse here, we're into. You might need to practice that transition from G into that new D chord or D sus4 with an A in the bass a few times. I think of it as a C with the 3rd finger moved to the low E, moved up 2 frets. So it's like C major, 3rd finger low E, pushed up 2 frets. There we go. So from the G, at the end of the verse. And then it's nice and slowly from the start, that verse. Now E minor we have to think, because the first E minor, we play that original pattern, and the second E minor we switch to, and we keep that going through A minor, F, G, and this new chord, D sus4 with an A in the bass. And then we're into the pre-chorus. Our first little move in the pre-chorus goes. So we take G for a bar and a half, A minor for a beat, G with a B in the bass for a beat, and then we're into C. Let me show you the pattern at the start of that pre-chorus. On the G, we play for the first time 2 notes simultaneously. The thumb, in this finger-picking style, we play the thumb on the low E, 3rd fret, open B. And then the D string open, and then the G string open. So the thumb gets the 3 on the E and the 0 on the B, and the open D, and the open G. So it's... Then we're back to the thumb for the 3rd fret of the low E. And then 2nd fret B on its own, thumb on D, 1st finger on G. So the first bar goes. And then again, the same pattern, so thumb and 2nd finger together on low E and A, thumb on D, 1st finger G. So the G gets before we change to A minor. And then we play an A minor, but we only need to put down the 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B, and we use thumb on A, 2nd finger B. And then G with a B, we're going to play 3rd fret with the 3rd finger on the B string, 2nd fret with the 1st finger on the A string. So we get, and for both of them it's thumb on A, 2nd finger on B with the picking hand. And then into a C, and it's the same thing on C. Thumb on A, 2nd finger on B, but we stagger them. Let me show you up to the C. Up to the C. And the C gets the thumb on A, 2 on B, thumb on D, 1st finger G, twice. Gets that twice in one bar, then we actually do it a 3rd time. Then we play the same pattern, but we drop to a C/B, so that's 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and we go A string, B string, D string, G string. From the C. And we move back to G. And that time on G we do our thumb 2 D G. So thumb 2 thumb 1, thumb 2 thumb 1 across E B D G, and again E B D G. 2 more times, E B D G, E B D G. Okay, I'm going to recap the G, A minor, G with a B, C, C with a B to G, and then we're aiming for a C and a C/B to finish. Then we're into the chorus. So from the top of the pre-chorus. And then C with a B. Let's take it from the top of the pre-chorus so far. And then on C, same as before on C to C/B. So it's 3 times on this pattern. So 3 times. last time. And then we play C with a B, the pattern thumb on the A, 2 on the B, open D, open G. The whole pre-chorus. The whole of the pre-chorus, nice and slowly. The whole of the pre-chorus, nice and slowly. And then we're into G for the chorus. And this is such a cool groovy little figure. This is very Paul Simon. Again, we just need the 3rd fret of the low E for the root note, and we go thumb on the low E, and then we're going to hit D, G and B. We can do that a few ways. We can pinch each string simultaneously with a digit assigned to each string, so D, G, B, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Or we can kind of flick, and I favour kind of Paul Simon thing he does. So you flick the backs of the nails against those 3 strings. And then he takes his index finger and he goes up, down, up at the end. So in total you hit the zeros on D, G and B 4 times. Slowly we go. So it's 1, 2 and 4 hands. 1, 2, 3 and 4 hands. After that we play. Now it's a bit like the intro. We play 1 on the B, 2 on the G simultaneously. Then 0 on both of them. 0 on the G, 0 on the B. Then 3 on the D, 2 on the G. And then 2 on the D, 0 on the G. So it's 4 things in that bar. So it's 2 on G, 1 on B, 0 on G, 0 on B, 3 on D, 2 on G, 2 on D, 0 on G, and then down to the 3 on the low E. Now we play this figure 3 times. I play it nice and slow. Into a D major and back to our pattern for G major for the verse. And we could play the kind of pattern we looked at for verse 1, then the more complicated one. Chorus once more. Last time. D, and then there we go. That's all our parts. Thanks very much for watching our Homeward Bound video. Remember, if you want the tabs, chord diagrams and charts, to head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/soundhuntmusic. Please give this video a like, and it'd be great if you subscribe to our channel so you can catch more videos soon. Enjoy. Bye bye.